Welcome to our first session of International Conference of Engineering. Today we're going to talk about multi-cloud in observability world, right? So we've been keep talking about observability, so we want to just do a deep dive into observability and understand, how this can benefit it for us, yeah, in long run. Quick intro. So my name is Vinod Patil. I've been with APN since a decade now. I lead performance engineering team under cloud and DevOps. Why can't you, Amit, quickly just introduce yourself?
Thank you, Vinod. My name is Amit Kumar. I've been Publicis Sapient for more than 14 years, and I'm a part of Cloud and DevOps COE. Thank you.
Thanks, Amit. Yeah. So in terms of exploring more on observability, which has been get started, it's more to do a reactive step for us. So myself and Amit, we were being in one of the holiday readiness discussion, and then later on we had a holiday season impact where one of our retail had a production issues during the holiday season. And then there was a lot of debriefing calls to understand what went wrong. In spite of we doing a thorough holiday readiness preparation, we had a outage in production. So it was a marathon discussions we had across the globe, multiple people joining, and we realized that whatever monitoring we do today, right, they are not fulfilling the actual requirement to give a wow experience to the customer. Amit, you want to add from your end here?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was a sad moment. After doing multiple rounds of performance runs, we had a glitch on our prime day. So, anyways, it was a good learning as well for us, and we have moved our focus towards identifying unknown unknowns, and we start making those unknowns to know unknowns by making or implementing the observability. So we have make our environment observable after that incident, and Vinod will talk more about like what is observability and how we can achieve it. Vinod, over to you.
Thanks, Arvind. So we'll get started with a quick video, I would say. So this is definitely a correlate to the topic what we are discussing today. Just have a look.
Oh my God.
All right, I'm sure that you would have been, watched this video multiple times. But with, our, observability relation, I want to just correlate this, the way. If you look at the car, right, it is something, it is well-known car, Tesla Model 3 autopilot enabled, right? So if you look at this, particular modern technology, right? So it's basically a life-saving event, right? And this car has multiple sensors, multiple, cameras, and there's a lot of image processing happening. There are data which has been, coming to a central system, and they're like, processing happening, right? And then there are controlled, steps which has been taken here in this case, right? So observability has came from a control theory of engineering, right? And that is something I'm going to talk more on next slide, right? So observability is nothing but in simple word, I would say that it is, how well you know your system internally, looking at the output, looking at the external outputs, meaning which, if there is a simple, I would say, out of memory exceptions. When you look at this exception, you're going to definitely make some, inferences in terms of looking at this external output that, it might be issue for me where a heap is not enough, or there are GC cycles happening, or there might be a memory leak itself, right? So these are the definitely observability makes you to think through and make some inferences, right? So now observability and monitoring, right, they are like they are interrelate each other. So definitely we want to just talk about a quick monitoring evolution, right? So let me introduce, Mr. John, right? So John is a production engineer who takes care of production monitoring and taking the steps according to the issues, or if there are any uh, there is any disturbance on the production side, right? So he has its, whenever he looked at the issues, and he has a set of actions to perform. It's more to do with what a basic system monitoring he has. He look on CPU, memory, network, but these are the monitoring systems will never give you that more insights what went wrong when production had issues, right? So let's simplify this particular issue of John, right, in subsequent slides, right? So let's talk about how the monitoring shift has been done, right? So more importantly, what is business interested in monitoring today? It is not that CPU, memory, RAM, right? They are always looking for a business domain specific requirement. The focus has been fundamentally shifted from how is my application doing to how are my customers doing, right? And with the basic monitoring, you cannot assess or judge your customer sentiments, right? So, and this can be achieved from definitely enhancing your monitoring, the new age of monitoring, I would say. And what it requires is definitely whatever we have been keep doing, the basic server monitoring. It has its own importance to keep system up and running. So that's something we will still consider or required. But beyond this, we need user experience, application performance, and capacity planning. These are very important. Reason being that without having more sense on these matrices, you can't really judge how is your application doing in production, right? Um, Last but not the least, right, business analytics and automated alert. Typical e-commerce world, we always look on order conversion rate or a cart operations. So these are the data which business always look on, right, to look on the revenue, what revenue generation is looks like, right, in particular holiday season or any particular event. And then finally automated alerts, right? Rather than we going to a system and understand if there is something wrong, it makes sense to have a automated alert in place, right? So let's talk more in terms of monitoring and observability in terms of the key differences, right? So there's a myth around observability. People say that observability is nothing but this is just a next enhanced version of monitoring, but that's not the truth. Definitely, just a quick view on here, right? So monitoring is something we can keep talking, and we know that we use this on day in day out, right, in our life. So we do monitoring, make sure that is my system working or it has some issues. We will get to know. It has some alerting mechanism, so the system will alert you if there is something wrong happening or there are specific thresholds which has been hit. Um, and more importantly, monitoring is inputs to the observability. So we will talk more into what exactly monitoring helps in terms of making our system observable in subsequent slide. But just input here is, yeah, monitoring is definitely one of the key dependent factor for making your system observable. Coming back to the observabilities, right? So this is something which will tell you that what is your system doing, and if there is something went wrong, why something went wrong, and that reduces the that reduces the effort for RCA or understanding that whenever you have issues on your system. On a high level, definitely it provides you end-to-end visibility across your different components, operational insights, which we discuss about in terms of having a quick RCA on it, and you can understand if there's something went wrong. So these are few things. The key ones is like you can definitely look on future predictions with the help of AI and ML doing predictions. And definitely it can tell you the historical data, right? So this stores your all the events, and if you really want to go back and check your last holiday season, what went wrong and what are the issues we encountered, you have that source of data with you. So now, just let's start putting this every aspect into a multi-cloud scenario, right? So monitoring, observability, definitely how they're going to fit into a multi-cloud scenario, because we are being moving from from monolith to a microservices, and definitely it makes sense for us to see how we can implement observability in multi-cloud scenario. Multi-cloud has its own complexity. Definitely, a simple, Amazon S3 bucket, right? So that's powered by 108 microservices on a backend. So you can understand that, how much, microservices, which has been heavily used in today's, world. And the example which I have provided here is basically a Google Cloud, and you have on-prem, and then you have another public cloud and private cloud. So it's basically a combination of all. They have hundred thousands of alerts. They have errors, exceptions, and managing everything in a single pan is definitely a challenge there. Apart from this, definitely we have different teams looking into different inputs on this. So it's not that straightforward. You can have slicing and dicing of your monitoring and observability straight away, right? So it has its own challenges as well. So let's discuss about the key challenges, right? Event correlation is definitely one of the key thing. When you have events generated across different clouds, your correlation will definitely get into a more complex in nature. Data aggregation, every application has its own format, and own format of writing the data. It has its own ways of the other languages used. So aggregating them is another challenge. You can't have a end-to-end tracing of say for a simple business transaction. So that will definitely yield into a lack of end-to-end visibility. And more importantly, if you look at Azure or AWS or GCP, they have their own cloud native tools, right? Let it be AWS Watch or App Insights. So if we have every cloud promoting their own tool stack, then definitely having a common tool stack is another key challenge. And as I said, that these clouds are having their own language preferences, and you will definitely end up with having multiple languages to deal with. Policy enforcement is something, when you look on a security related policies, or look on a GDPR view, data transfer, this is another key challenge when you really want to make your unified data aggregations or event correlation. So yeah, so these are the key challenges. Definitely, let's discuss more into now. Let's do a deep dive into observability and how we're going to fit in this into a multi-cloud. So observability has a three key pillars, right? Matrices, traces, and logs. So we'll go one by one and understand that how they have been complementing each other and how they are helping observability. So matrices is nothing but a typical a measure, a numerical presentation over the time, right? So let it be your CPU memory, your application matrix, more towards error, exceptions, or the response time related data. And business matrix is like we're talking about e-commerce, and it's order conversion and cart conversion. So these definitely inputs gives more inclination towards making your system more observable. Next pillar is stretches. Definitely, it's a it is nothing but the a related distributed events for a particular action, and this can tell you the hierarchy of the code which you have been executed. Typical trace would be the business transaction trace, say for a checkout, for example. The third one is definitely the logs. So log is something we are writing the logs just to make sure that a system can help us if there are any errors, exceptions, or if you really want to capture some business inputs, right? So these are the three key pillars on observability. Now let's sum this up, right? In terms of how well you have to make sure your system configured, so we can have your system observable, right? So starting with the client experience. So end user monitoring is something is must. We definitely wanted to understand how is application performing against different channels, desktop, mobile, right? Next is an application, understand the platform metrics, understand the log aggregations, the database profiling, and there are many more, right? Last one is definitely infrastructure, and it definitely required more inputs in terms of just making sure that our servers are up and running, right? And this is something gives you the final output, right? When we have this all monitoring in place, you can have insights on each and every key vitals of the business, other observability KPI, right? User experience management, application performance, capacity planning, analytics, and automated alerts. So this all can definitely help you to make your system observable, and can provide you 360-degree view of uh, monitoring of your platform. And of course, this has to make sure that happens not only one specific cloud, but it's basically on a multi-cloud, let it be on-prem, cloud, or hybrid. Well, so we have spent good amount of time, and as we being looking always on cutting edge technology, we have designed a quick open source solution which can give you observability, right? And this is nothing but Elastic Stack, right? So typically you have bits which can be configured on any cloud. In this case, it's AWS, Azure, and a GCP. And then this can be a data can be a snippet to a Logstash, and it will get a process on Elasticsearch, and you have a visualization through Kibana, right? And this can take care of not the typical VMs, but this can take care of your typical container monitoring and all, right? So that's pretty much in terms of I would say observability in terms of the evolution deep dive. So I'll have quickly Amit to take this cursor from here for a quick demo on the way we have customized observability in multi-cloud. Amit, over to you.
Thank you. So in this demo, I will talk about the 360-degree view of monitoring, and we'll start from the infrastructure layer, the database, the APM application performance, and the real user monitoring. And we'll also try to cover the security aspects. Now, as we know, the security is a very crucial thing nowadays. So starting with the host overview, as you remember, like Vinod talked about Mr. John, who was very happy doing the traditional monitoring, was looking at the fancy dashboards, multicolored spikes and all those. So he was very happy. And it's not, so we are not also going away from this. We will continue with this kind of monitoring to achieve the observability. Also nowadays, as we have moved to the Dockerized environment, so we have the visibility on Dockerized environment as well. Like we can see the CPU utilization of our containers, the number of containers which are running or active or which are in stop state. So we have the visibility on all these things. And next comes the web layer. So we also cover the web layer, like we check the performance and the availability of our web servers, and also look at the parameters like the response code, like how many 02s, 404s are there at my Apache layer or the web layer. And next is the application part, which is the crucial part, and it's very big thing in itself. So it provides you the in-depth monitoring. It tells you how is your application performing, and where are the gaps which we can further tune or we can further optimize our application based on the data collected from this module. So here we can see the time spent. Here we can see the transactions per minute. Here we can see the request per minute and the transactions, the most hitted transactions per minute. We can see the data for those. Also, for a developer, like developers can go here and check the errors. What are the exceptions errors? They can see and click here directly. They can click here and they can see the exception errors. Like here we have a 500 internal error. So instead of logging to the servers, like earlier we used to log into the server and check 500 error by running some queries and searching the logs. Now here we don't have to do that kind of activity. So that is a time saver thing here. So we can identify where is the log, what was the error at that time. So these things can be done using the tools like the framework which we have set up over here. And also in case of any exceptions which are related to the database, then we can also do the database monitoring as well. We can check for the deadlocks, we can check for the slow queries, performance issues, the number, if there are high number of the connections on the database. So we can trace all those things, and we have set up the alerts on that layer. In case of that deadlock, our L1 team will get notified for any issues at the database layer as well. Also in the application performance, in the APM part, we can also focus on the JVM metrics, like how is my Java working. So we can check the heap memory utilization, we can check the thread counts, we can check the garbage collection per minute. And after this, we have a topic which I want to cover here is the real user monitoring, which is a very important aspect nowadays, which talks about the end user experience. How is my user interacting with my application? We get to know how the application performs from different geolocations. Like here, we can see the most of the hits are from Asia geography, the India country. And what is the average load distribution per browser? Like what kind of browser user is using? Are they using Chrome only? Are they using Firefox? Do I need to further optimize my application based on the Chrome or Firefox? So these kind of metrics can be collected through these channels, and we can further optimize our application. Also here we can do the tracing, like what kind of I will say the modules of the application user is accessing. Like here we can see the each transactions from the end user perspective. And also nowadays tools has evolved up to a level where we can visualize those transactions. What a user is doing, we can visualize using such tools at our end. So tools have gained such maturity nowadays. So here we can see one transaction, which is the find query. A person was doing some find action on my application and using a browser like Chrome. And here we can see what was the time taken by each module here. So here we can trace and we can optimize our application if we see that utilization, like the response time is high for that particular module. So this way we can optimize our application here. Next section is the security, which I talked. Like, security is very important nowadays, so we always try to focus on that. Like, we always focus on the bot attacks, and we try to save our application and the environment from the bot attacks. So we keep a watch on the IPs which are accessing my application, and what is the transfer in and out ratio and the size of that packet. So we keep a watch on that, and we have enabled notification in case the utilization is very high and is not normal. If we see any anomaly, then tool alerts us, like this is the IP which is doing such heavy transactions on our application. So we can go and we can further block that IP address, or we can take action according to our requirement. So next section is the OS security as well. So security is not only related to the network, it also comes to the OS part as well. So we have to keep a track on the OS layer security as well, like unauthorized access. We like here we have set up the alerting for the unauthorized access or the failure authentications. So in case of any failure notification or failure attempt, we will be notified through this tool. Like, there were failure attempts, so we can check and trace out those IP address, and we can take the call, like either it's a known or unknown IP, whether we have to block this IP or not. So this is what I want to cover here from the security point of view, and this is the last, like the observability overview. So log tracing and the log tracing and metrics, which we know talked, the three pillar of observability. So we have bring them in a single console to provide you a unified view of your system health and the performance. So that's all from my side. So we will talk more about it, like how you can achieve if you don't have the observability as of now in your environment, the application which you are supporting. So how you can make it observable. So over to you.
We have done with the demo, and now it's very interesting. What's in it for you, right? Make your systems observable. That's what the message we really want to give to this audience. Without having observability in your system, you can't really you can't really assure that your platform will be up and running always, right? So, and how we're going to do this is something I will talk more on this, right? So definitely, you have to start with assessment, understand your application, understand your domain, and go back and validate your downtime patterns, and then to come up with a thorough assessments in terms of what exactly the observability you want to capture and what solution you want to implement it, right? So there are multiple tools out today, right, which can offer you observability. Let it be AppDynamics, New Relic, Dynatrace, or Elastic Stack in terms of open source, right? And make sure that when you select a tool, it has to be cheap to instrument, easy to explore, reliable, and scalable, right? So if your platform is not scalable, definitely it will be having issues when you have more applications getting deployed into a production. Next is basically once you have this tool in place, you have done your assessment, to deploy this into a local environment, do that for whatever failure events you have been went through, just try and recreate them and understand how observability can help you to just make sure that these events before getting actual failure can be captured and can be and corrective actions has been taken, right? So, and then once you're thorough enough on your baseline, definitely you can move on and make sure that you deploy this into production, and in production you will have a continuous feedback loop, right? So as in when you had some new issues encountered, make sure you are adding that to observability and making sure that your system is always observable. Just to conclude, definitely make sure that your systems are observable, not only directly on a production, but start doing this from a local environment and then go to the production. With this, thank you very much for your time and your support.